Hi Leo, this is your February 2016 horoscope with me, Lada from astrolada.com. And that horoscope for anyone who is ascendant, sun, moon in Leo. Either the sun, the ascendant, or the moon. And last month, in January, I promised you that in February predictions, I will talk about Mars going to be for quite a few months in your 4th house in Scorpio. And in March, I'm going to talk about Mars getting retrograde in your 6th house. No, in your 5th house. But first, I will this month go over Mars getting retrograde in your 4th house and what it entails and why is this important. Mars transits your 4th house of home, family, property, security every 2.5 years, but not every 2.5 years it has such an impact as it is going to have over the next few months till around August 2016, because Mars will stay in your 4th house much longer than it usually does. Because Mars will get retrograde. What it means that from Earth, as we watch it, it will look as if Mars goes in Scorpio, stops all of a sudden, starts moving backwards, and then starts moving forwards again. So it intensifies. When a planet goes retrograde, it spends much longer time in that house in our life. Whatever area that house, that sign rules in one's life, and for you Scorpio, this is family, personal life, emotional life, and later on when Mars goes into your 5th house, romantic life, children, creativity, your personal business, but I'll talk about that in March. But how are you going to feel it? One of the big areas you're going to have impact, and Mars is all about changing things. Mars naturally is the planet that rules new things, that rules rebellion, that rules change, that rules breaking the old norms and pushing in the new through psychological change or through some crisis situation. And Mars does not care if it's going to trample over this, whether it's going to force you from outside or whether you're going to initiate this transformation. Whether you wanted to know, Mars will do it. And it's better to cooperate with Mars, to be honest, to be more proactive, initiative in regards to changing matters in your personal life over the next 5-6 months. And February, maybe you won't immediately feel that, but you have the first whiffs of how this might play out. It will very much intensify around the spring for the Northern Hemisphere. But February, I just want to give you the whole overview for the next 5-6 months, so you're prepared, so you're armed better, so you see what the big purpose of this transit is, so you don't complain that, oh, Mars is annoying me, it's stressing me, we're arguing here, and you get stuck in the small picture rather than see the big picture, because the purpose of Mars is to help us when it's retrograde and when it's for such a long time in your 4th house, which happens once every 17 years, by the way. So it's a rare occurrence for Mars to get for such a long time in your 4th house. So the ultimate purpose is for Mars in the 4th house is to help you break through some old, outdated traditions in regards to your personal happiness or family life, or in regards to tradition overall, because 4th house is what we learned from childhood, almost like as a tradition, as whatever our parents taught us. Our outlook in life is very much the 4th house. It's almost very subconscious that it's been integrated into our thinking by teachers, by school, by the system, by such traditional pillars of society. And Mars will want you to rebel against tradition, and you might find yourself over the next few months that you're rebelling against parents, or you're rebelling against your background or the traditions of your culture, that you're rebelling against your education from the past and what you were made to believe, or how you are made to do things. And this can, especially people in more traditional societies, when they have Mars transiting their 4th house for such a long period, they might feel like they're stepping on the toes of those more conservative, traditional institutions or people in their life. But sometimes Mars requires victims, And it's almost like you might develop more breakthrough, something new, belief system, no, not even belief system, new ways to approach your family life or to approach your personal life. If you are taught to believe that this is what your personal life should be, this is what your family life should be, now you can do it in a new way. Now you can do it in an innovative way that is much more personal to you, much more truthful to you, because Mars is this planet that naturally rules the Aries, which is the initiator, the I, you know, the person. And you're going to apply this in regards to your family life, in regards to your personal life. So how can it manifest? You know, on a more mundane level, you might be doing some renovations at home. You might be changing, renewing, building something home, because Mars is physical energy, and putting effort and willpower to change something in the home. Practically, materially, maybe around your garden, maybe you have a project, you will do projects to relocate and you have to build new compartments or whatever, you know, something else that you're doing some structurally changes around your home. That's on the material. Or you might be buying or selling property of sales. And people who are in fourth house careers will find themselves extremely energized, will find themselves extremely dynamic and busy with their career. There might be some challenges they have to overcome, but by the end of the process, by August, September 2016, they would see, wow, I got so much work done. So if you're a Leo and you work in private property, property investment, anything to do with decoration of property, or anything to do with property, in nurturing, in caring, in primary education, when you're teaching the traditions of, you know, like the early school teachers, carers, nannies, people in hotel businesses as well, that managers, they are organizers in hospitality. These are all fourth house careers. They're all people that work in places, treasuries, where things are kept as well. That's fourth house. So all those careers, if you happen to be a Leo and be in such a career, you'll be very busy. There might be some conflict that you have to overcome, but by the end of the process, you'd have proven your authority a lot more, and you'd have been, you almost are given the green light while Mars is retrograde in your fourth house, or starting from February to August, to make some changes in that business, to have a breakthrough in regards to such kind of matters. Or whoever you are with Leo ascendant in particular, to a lesser degree Sun or Moon, Mars, such a long time in your fourth house, breakthroughs in your family life, some changes, structural, and you might be even kind of rebelling, going against the grain of what's expected for you in a traditional situation. And the worst thing is that there might be conflicts with family and close people, people that you live with, flatmates or whatever, because Mars is this energy, this planet that is, you know, it's the god of war. So what can we expect but this? And the ultimate goal of Mars is, whether you relocate or, you know, whatever, change something in your home environment, ultimate goal of Mars in the fourth house is to make you, through showing willpower and more assertiveness, and through to make a breakthrough, to make a change in your family relationships. Sometimes even parents can become more kind of martial, especially more penetrating, forcing, invading, because Mars is in Scorpio there. So people in your environment where you live might become more and more penetrating, invading, martial, or kind of creating tension with you, sometimes even manipulative because of the Scorpio energy. But again, you have an opportunity by the end of the summer for the Northern Hemisphere to have a breakthrough there, to change those unhealthy or toxic dynamics in the family. And if it's really not healthy, this can make someone to relocate you, moving out. And actually Mars, from the fourth house for Leo, aspects directly the seventh house with a square aspect, which is a difficult aspect. So if your relationships, whether it's business or marriage relationships, or committed relationships, are on the rocks, Mars can increase that. Mars can increase definitely the tension between you and your partner. And those problems can escalate. For example, I'm a Leo moon, and my teacher, when she was doing my horoscopes, I also get my horoscope done from someone else to be more objective. And she said, "Oh, Mars will be retrograde in Scorpio in 2016. Will be opposing, will be squaring your the seventh sign from your moon, and your moon, that will be tough for your relationships emotionally. That will create tension. You'll be more argumentative. You'll be more kind of react, especially emotionally, because Mars does this aspect from the fourth house. So you become emotionally more reactive because fourth house rules irritability. So it's very good to have some psychological release, maybe through working out, maybe through deep breath, meditation, especially more physical ones, Mars, like maybe going in nature, working out something. It's important to let off steam because it can directly impact relationships for Leo for the next 6 months and directly impact their personal life and emotions, how they feel. So their family life and their relationships can be impacted and stressed. And some structural changes can be happening there in the family life and also in relationship because Mars is pushing you. And even relationships can become a sense of tension there. But again, the ultimate goal is to transform something, to make it new or better, to let go of old structures and ways that you've been doing it, because especially Mars is in Scorpio, super transformative energy. And it can be stimulated by some crisis or inner tension, inner fight. But eventually it will help you, manifest more willpower and more initiative in taking care of your emotional happiness, which is the fourth house. So you will become, on a positive scale, if you've been neglecting yourself emotionally, you might even have an emotional, not breakdown, but very intense, you might psychologically, feeling-wise react when Mars is in your fourth house for such a long time. But exactly this will push you to start taking some steps to take care of yourself emotionally, to see what your needs are, not to no longer, kind of put it under the carpet, under the rug. What are my emotional needs? What do I need to feel happy? So now Mars will force you, either through people forcing you or through your family or you yourself escalating emotionally to a point of intensity where you say, that's it. We only have breakthroughs, which is Mars. When it gets to breaking point, basically, So in order to escalate, just like one electron can be turned into another, not electron, one atom can be turned into the atom of a different substance when the speed and the heat is escalated inside the atom, so the electron jumps off and it turns into a different substance, basically. The same way to have a psychological transformation, which Mars in Scorpio demands from you over the next 7-8 months, you can do it only through some pressure being applied to you, inner or outer, and this will transform you emotionally overall, psychologically, and it can also transform to some extent your family, your personal sense of inner happiness, which is the fourth house overall. So if you've been, if they are predatory invading influences on your emotional happiness, you will feel it very intensely. Maybe they were there before, but now you'll become extremely conscious of them, Leos. Because fourth house is your subjective look of reality, and it's your fourth house is your what makes you personally happy, and Mars there says, you're taking things in your matters now, and now finally I'm going to give you willpower to break through the things that are depriving you from this emotional happiness, to break through the things that are emotionally like vampires to you, because fourth house can be someone sucking our, especially with Mars, they're activating it, we become strongly aware if someone is sucking our energy, vampirically almost, or is sucking our happiness. And Mars can help you cut such people off, or can help you start taking care of you psychologically, emotionally. It can be a very good time for psychotherapy, for self-analysis, because the fourth house is the past. It's our psychosomatic balance, and Mars there in Scorpio makes you dig deep. So especially can be beneficial if you're with a psychoanalysis who digs deep, which is very Scorpionic, very Mars, invades your past memories from childhood and tries to bring out why there is some trauma or why you're self-destructive emotionally, psychologically towards yourself, because fourth house is a very psychological house. On the material level, I said it's properties, changes, in regards to properties of such careers, in regards to your family atmosphere, in regards to what's happening at home, in regards to vehicles as well. But on the deep psychological level, something is triggering, is changing about your emotional needs, what makes you happy, and you're willing to be more disciplined, and whether to involve sports or some kind of disciplined actions, which is Mars, and more willpower in order to break through and to find the bottom, the root of some psychological problem, or to eliminate people that are undermining you psychologically, that are draining your vitality in some way. Okay, so that's one way. It might be stressful, but believe me, the end result is always very good for what's going to be happening for you. And as I said, Mars aspects also your relationships, so that can create some stress there, but also some breakthrough. And surgical removal of such kind of Mars, because Mars indicates any kind of inimical influences. And when they're in your 4th house, inimical influences might be, for example, mites in your home that you're fighting with. Or it might be oud something that's eating the oud in your home. Or it might be something that, those spores, that anything which attacks you, it's Mars. Anything which invades you without permission is also Mars. So maybe in worst case scenario, someone coming to rob your house or whatever, or someone, neighbors, some enmities there. But or maybe some, what's it called, in the air, when there is mold in the house, you might be fighting with that. It might be such a simple manifestation that you are asked to tackle such issues. On the higher manifestations, asked to tackle deep-seated psychological problems between you and family partners, between you and mother, between you and your past, for your childhood. And this can escalate to some emotional tantrum or emotional fit for you, and that forces you to look for answers of this, what motivated you psychologically, So it can be very useful in the long term to remove from yourself such psychological or home predators or attacking influences or predatory influences, which are in your very close environment, which directly affect your emotional happiness or even, safety, so to speak. Okay, so next month in March, we're going to talk about Mars also getting retrograde and being for quite a long time also in your 5th house, because it's a process. It will be in your 5th and 4th house till the end of August, till September. So both will be triggered. Okay, so now let's go to the current month, Leo. What is happening? After I scared you, don't worry, it's not so scary. Right now, Jupiter and Rahu continue to be joined together in conjunction for most of February, all of February, in your 2nd house of finances. So now it's time to manifest. In ancient scriptures, a teacher of mine recently, they translated some ancient scriptures, and they said that the priest would tell to the king of the land to pray for whatever he wanted once every 9 years, when Rahu and Jupiter join together. Rahu is the north node of the moon, and both are expansive. They can manifest on the material level. They make things happen. So apparently prayers are heard more, and abundance can happen in whatever house Mars and Rahu are. So it's a time for you to push forward and to make things happen in regards to finances, some new financial initiatives, or to pray for that. And your prayers or visualizations or any kind of, I would say, even physical efforts in that direction can pay off. Me being a Leo moon, since they started the whole August and even December, they're already close together. And February, my finances started expanding, and I got new ideas for new financial increase and stability. So that, I hope you get to feel that as well. Anyway, another thing, Venus and Mars are going into your 7th house. Sorry, Venus and Mercury, the 2 planets of communications, from the middle of February are going into your 7th house. So from the middle of February to around mid-March, early March, you become much more socially active. You become much more communicative with partners. You take some decisions in regards to your partnerships, but these are not stressful ones, because Mars and Venus, they're more positive planets. They're ones that you think rationally through, you assess things rationally, you evaluate, you examine. And it's good for business deals, for negotiations, increase contact with clients, more publicity, social outreach as well. And it can improve relationships overall, but it's a very short influence. It continues for about 20 days. And after that, Mars takes over. And I told you that it can be a bit more intense at moments for the next 6 months. But for the near short future, February second part, good for cooperating with others, advise with others, working together with others, improving your relationships and commitments and business overall. So that's it. I don't want to go into other details. February, that's a month that you're better off to focus on relationships, that you're better off. And actually, there will be a new moon, Leo, new moon in, not new moon, but full moon in Leo in February, which will be happening in, when it's in Scorpio. Yes, no. In February, there is a full moon around the 22nd. I think it's the 20th. No, around the 20th of February. Yes. No, around the 23rd of February. Okay, 22nd of February. It's a full moon. And that's not in Leo, sorry. I think the full moon was earlier in Leo. It was in January, isn't it? Okay, so there is no full moon, sorry. I'm getting so tired, guys. Okay, so that's it. Leo, thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed that. A lot of you accuse me that I'm very negative. No, I'm not. I'm trying to present you all the possible things and to show you the bigger picture, how things end and why is it positive in the long run. If there was no challenges, we would never be pushed to succeed, to move forward. You know, when I have the most difficult transits, always I mobilize myself the most. So we need those things. Anyway, thank you so much and I'll see you next month.